Hello everybody, happy Tuesday. Bitcoin is pumping right after reaching the support zone. You can see the support line, white line. You can see my video from yesterday. I told you it's also entering this green box. This is the buy box. And you can see every time it touched buy box before, it bounced. It touched here, it bounced. And now yesterday it came right. And there were multiple supports here. And now it's bouncing. It's up 5.5%. And if I bring SMA lines, you can see it touched 200 EMA line. This is the light blue line. And now it's bouncing. So Bitcoin is doing everything it can to find a new uptrend. Also, you can see on 1 hour chart, it's above all moving averages. You can see this is 200 SMA, 200 EMA, 50 SMA, and this 20 SMA. So Bitcoin is above all of that. So Bitcoin is doing everything it can to go back to a bull zone. Now you can see where we are right now. Bitcoin is right heading into a resistance area here. You can see this is a big resistance here. Bitcoin really needs to clean that, and I would really want Bitcoin to go above this previous wick here, which is around let's say around here 27,000, let's say 27,500. I really want to see a new high compared to previous high. Until we go above that, it could be a lower high, and then we could go lower. You can see what happened here. Bitcoin made a new low this morning. Bitcoin made a new low, and then RSI was going higher, PPO was going higher. So this was a higher momentum on PPO and RSI. We made a new low, but with divergence on PPO. PPO made a higher low. RSI also made a higher low. Now Bitcoin really needs to go above that, else this could be a fake breakout. And you can see what happened here this morning. If you want to draw a line here to see how do we know when to trade, you could have drawn a line like this. And this candle, this 1 hour candle, was a buy signal. Okay, and now Bitcoin is going higher. I really want to see, in order for Bitcoin to go higher, you can see what's happening right now. RSI is overbought. It's green area here. You can see last time it was overbought here. It had to stabilize a bit. It formed a flag. This is a flag and another pump. And you can see again it went on overbought. So if you want to see new highs, Bitcoin needs to do something similar. Basically, I would like to see Bitcoin stabilize here a bit. Okay, make a flag and then go higher. If that's not possible, then the other scenario would be Bitcoin to make a higher low and then go higher. Okay, these are the bull scenarios. Else, if Bitcoin rejects here, it can go straight down, and that will be really bearish. And if it goes down, then it can go back to the bottom of this zone here, which is around 23,246. So prepared for both scenarios. I personally, if I'm in profits, I'll be exiting here. The reason is VIX. I will say VIX. This is fear index for S&P 500. Bitcoin is closely relating to American stocks right now. If I go to weekly chart here on VIX, you can see VIX is now below 14, which happened last time around. Actually, this is also not below 14. This happened before actually here in 2020. So until 2020, VIX was never below 14. But every time it goes below 14, you got to be very, very careful. You can see every time it goes below 14, VIX bounces. When VIX bounce, S&P 500 goes lower. So again on Bitcoin, be very careful here. If you're in profit, take profits. And this is daily chart. And be very careful here. And it's possible from here, it is quite possible that this could be another basically lower high before Bitcoin goes down. And the lower we go, this box, you should be looking to buy. I think long term, you have to be very careful on this Bitcoin futures chart. You see this big gap here around 20,000. Eventually, Bitcoin will fill this gap. I just don't know when. And also, these cycles are coming here around the end of July. So it is quite possible here, from here, we could get a rejection, okay? And we go down straight to fill these gaps. So be very careful. Just letting you know, uh, lock in the profits, all right? Ethereum, same thing, bouncing 4%. Ethereum also is holding this trend line. You can see this white trend line. Ethereum holding it, and it touched the top part of this box. It's again same scenario possible, but Ethereum can come down to this box again and then find a bit and go higher again. All right. Okay, guys. Before I go further, please hit the like button. It only takes 1 second to hit the like, and please share with your friends and family. If you're making money, want to donate, there's a PayPal link in the description. I will appreciate all the donations. All right. So let's now go to US stock market, which is MES chart. And let's see here, this is the chart which I use to guide. We are in an overbought condition here. So this rotation, which is at 5.92%, which happened yesterday, and now we're going lower, so nothing changed. We were slightly up on SPY, but since still we are not above this previous high, so this rotation can go as low as minimum 3%. So looking for lower prices. This is above this dotted line and purple line. Below, between these two, this is a sell zone for me. Okay, and this is a MES chart. You can see we made a previous high yesterday. We did not make a new high today. MES is up 0.226%. This is futures for S&P 500. I do expect a little bit of sell-off. Okay, and these are the buy boxes 4123 to 414013. I'm looking for some buying here. So I'm not interested in this market until we find a dip here. Let's go to SPY. 0.22% up. This is the ETF. You can see 1 hour chart, massive gap here at minimum. I'm looking for that gap to fill. Gaps will be filled. There's another gap here around 406. So let's go to daily chart to show you these gaps. And then the last gap is around 395. All these gaps will be filled, but I'm looking for some little bit of pullback. At minimum, fill this 421 gap, and then I'm looking for another bounce, and then eventually come back lower to fill all these other gaps later on in the year. Okay, and let's go to MNQ, which is Nasdaq. Let's see where we are. Nasdaq. Sorry, guys, I have so many charts here. Sometimes it takes a while to find what I need. Uh, let's see. Okay, here you go. MNQ. This is the chart I'm looking for, and you can see flat here. Triple Qs. Minus 0.2 flat here. So still looks like previous lows were like a doji candle here. Yesterday you can see indecision candle here, and today also similar to indecision here. And I'm looking for lower prices, and then again a bounce which will fail to again get a lower price later on. And then triple Qs, let's see what kind of candle it made. Again, you can see this could be a reversal candle. This is a rejection candle yesterday. Today was a indecision candle, and gap here at minimum looking for 332. So looking for a lower bounce, lower prices on triple Qs. VIX I already covered. You gotta be careful here. VIX is selling down below 14. This happened like 2 years ago, and these are the levels I've not seen for a while. And you gotta be careful here. And you can see what's happening on VIX. It keeps going lower, but there's higher momentum on PPO, and even RSI is higher. Okay, so be very, very careful. This could be a very big trap, and we might be heading lower on other stocks. US 30, which is Dow Jones, is flat. Again, looking for lower prices to go in this buy zone, and then a bounce. US 2000, which is Russell, looks like it bottomed a couple of days ago, and this bottom indicator came here around end of May. Now we're bouncing, but this is my final target around 1901, and I was expecting a little bit of dip, but looks like we're not going to get that soon. So this is also, this cycle is coming here. It could top very soon. We can get a dip later on, and then we go high to fill this previous high. But I'm not looking for too high prices. From here to 1901, my final target from here is around 2.2%, around 2.5%, let's call it. Okay, so be careful there. And gold is kind of flat. Again, gold is like Bitcoin holding this white trend line. Okay, I do expect a little bit of lower prices, but as long as it's holding this trend line, it's possible we can bounce. Tomorrow is interest rate decision, Bank of Canada. If they decide to increase rate by 0.25, it can be very bearish for gold, and gold can sell off. But as long as it's holding this trend line, nothing to worry. We could go again in this box and then sell off, but eventually I'm looking for lower prices. So any bounce, look to sell. And silver, same thing, looking to sell any bounce, looking for lower prices later on. Again, we are kind of indecision candle here. You can see indecision in the middle. Again, we can buy, if we bounce back in this box, look to sell silver as well. And dollar is 0.15% up, and looking for lower prices in dollar. If dollar goes down, Bitcoin and gold will go up. Keep moving on. Oil was down in the morning, and it recovered very nicely, but still looking for lower prices in oil, previous lows or lower low. Very bearish on oil this year. Natural gas, let's go to 1 hour chart. Let's see if it filled the gap here. It came very close to filling the gap, and still did not fill the gap. Let's look at future. The problem with natural gas is on other if I look at NG, it's not showing this gap. So I don't really know if this is a real gap or not. But yeah, so just be mindful of that. But everything is looking good on natural gas. We are, if I bring the SMA lines here, you can see we are above this red line. This is 50 line. This is the line in the sand. You can see we came below that, but again we recovered in the next couple of hours, and now we are above that. As long as we are above this 50 SMA line, you're good to trade natural gas. Bitcoin already covered. Copper is gonna get bottom before gold, so looking for this to bottom very soon in next couple of days. And my price targets are equal lows or lower lows, so this is gonna happen by mid to late June. Looking for copper to bottom. Wheat, basically this could look like a rejection candle, but it's okay. Still on the in this wedge. As long as it's in this wedge, nothing to worry. And we got rejected from this 50 SMA line, daily line, but wheat can still make an attempt to go above that. Whenever that break happens, it's going to be a very explosive break. And palladium, everything is good. Let's go to 1 hour chart and see if you're holding this trend line. Palladium, and let's see if I can get this trend line. Yeah, here you go. It came yesterday, back tested it again, it back tested it, and it's going higher, so everything is looking good on palladium. Bonds, let's go to a daily chart on bonds and see how bonds are doing. And you can see a cycle is coming here, eventually looking for equal lows or lower low, and then a bounce later on in bonds. And gold miners, let's quickly look at gold miners. GDX, again it's holding this trend line. Okay, it can come lower. I think it can come lower if tomorrow gold sells off. It's going to be a good area to buy on this trend line gold miners, and then we're going to get another bounce. So gold miners are looking good. Let's see sectors. Let's look into XLE. XLE was down in the morning, but then it recovered by the end of the day. Still looking for lower prices. My eventual target is this gap fill around 71.55. XLU flat. Looking for a little bit of lower prices. Again, looks like it's still holding this trend line. So as long as it's holding this white trend line, it's all good. Looks like we broke out. Came for a back test. We could be heading higher on utilities. XLV had a bad day today, but it's still holding very nicely. Again, be mindful of this trend line. It can go as low as go to this trend line and then bounce. That's my projection here. Industrials here, there's a gap here. Really want this gap to fill. Looking for this gap to fill. That will be a good area to buy. Real estate sector, looking for this gap to fill and then bounce. Financials had a very good day today, and but still this massive gap is here, so this gap will be eventually filled. I just don't know when, so be very careful. So this gap is around $32.25, so be very careful on financials. And let's see if there is anything else. Let's look at some of the tech stocks. And Tesla still keep going higher. And let's go to 1 hour chart and see if we can find anything else, any evidence of slowing down in this momentum. You can see PPO is going lower. You can see we made a new high, but you can see what's happening on PPO. PPO is going lower, momentum is slowing down. RSI is also going lower on 1 hour chart, so you got to be very careful. This is an early indication of reversal. You can see same thing here. Let's see here. RSI had equal highs, PPO had lower high. You can see PPO had lower high compared to here, and we made a new high. So be very careful on Tesla here. And yeah, it's possible we are about to get end of this rally, so be very careful. Looks like it did make a new high, so we're going to adjust this slightly here, this and then I'm looking for, there are a couple of gaps here on Tesla. Again, if I go to 1 hour chart, gap here around 208, then gap here around, a bigger gap here around 161. So be careful. And also on daily, there's another gap here around 145. So you can see this big gap. This will eventually be filled. Apple 0.21% looks like yesterday made a new all-time high. Again, this gap here, looking for these gaps to fill. Google 1% up with the divergence on PPO and RSI, and looking for lower prices on Google. Microsoft down 0.67%. Again, a gap here around 316, 315, looking for lower prices. Snowflake 0.2%. This could be a rejection candle, and we are heading lower. Cycle low is coming here around 17th of July. Meta flat today, 0.1%. Looks like two rejection candles from last couple of days. Looks very similar to each other. Multiple gaps to the downside. Be very careful on Meta. Amazon up 1%, but Amazon has no divergence on PPO and RSI, so this one chart is looking good. So nothing looking bad on Amazon. So Amazon can still go higher, and looks like there's slight divergence on PPO, but RSI is looking good. But looks like I'm looking for this topping process to end very soon, and then lower prices. Netflix down 1%. This gap here, that's our first target around 308. Also, this trend line can come as low as 357. NVDA down, looks like top is in, looking for this massive gap to start filling very soon. AMD massive pump today, 5% up, but this could be like a dead cat bounce before we go lower. This gap here around 109, looking for that gap to fill. Intel looking bullish, 3% up, but again, Intel is looking okay, but the thing is with S&P 500 going lower, I'm looking for this to come back to this demand zone here around $26. Baba is going higher, 2.73% up, um, and it's on divergence on PPO and RSI. The only thing which is bothering me is this gap, so I don't know when this gap will fill, but I will be buying on this whenever this gap fills. Disney looking good, again up 1%, 1.27%. It's in people are buying Disney as soon as it comes to this buy zone here, this green zone here. This is the buy zone. Disney people are buying. Nike is also looking for the bottom. The only thing which bothers me is this gap here, which is around 104.3. This gap we can buy whenever we come close to this gap. That's the only thing which is I'm looking to wait to get Nike bought. Canadian stocks, they are pumping, mainly financials because a lot of banks are there. Look at all these banks, they're pumping. But the only thing is there's this massive gap left here, so I will be a bit careful here. And yeah, overall, market is looking bullish, but this is the time to not be too overly aggressive on the long side. This is a time to take profits. I'm waiting for a pullback. I'll wait as long as it takes. I want to wait until S&P 500 go back to around this yellow line or below that. All right, guys, hopefully this was useful. And if you're still there, please hit the like button on your way out. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.